Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Harika. So in today's video, I'm going to show you some more features of UiPath apps with VB expressions. So this is like a continuation video to the part one that I've released a week back. So if you haven't watched that video, let me quickly direct you to my channel where you can find that particular video. Just head to my channel. So the idea of taking you here is if you understand the part one, it's better to get the gist of it and to look into the part two quite easily and to absorb it more quickly. So this is the video that I'm talking about, UiPath Apps, VB Expressions, create your first app with VB Expressions. So this is the video you can just check out on my channel and it will be helpful for you if you haven't watched it earlier, and it will help you to understand the second video much quicker and easier. So now what I'm going to show you on my channel right now is, so there are three different things that I'm going to showcase in this video today. So first is about this slider. So basically, if you see, it's muted. If it's something related to volume, you can just utilize this particular piece. So where you can understand at which volume number it is, and this is the information, or this is the label that will show you dynamically as you slide the button on the particular slider. Okay, so volume has increased to 44%. So let's say if you want to increase to 77, it shows up, it says 30. Whatever you change this to, it says that. Okay, so that's the thing about the slider. And this is a normal date. So if you give the date as 21, it will just help you to understand clearly, like in which format and everything. Like there's a format that explains or put a label that clearly shows you the date that you have selected. You have selected 21st September 2023. And after that, there's this checkbox. So if you see, I am unable to click on the register until I select I agree the terms and conditions. So before I register, this is the mandatory that I have to check all the terms and conditions. So once after I click it, this will be enabled and I can click on register and I can register into that particular site or application, whatever it is. So these are the three different features that I am going to show you, and by end of this video you're going to learn these three different things. So if you find them useful and wanted to learn, do check out the whole video, and you will definitely try to include these things on your apps when you're creating it. So yes, without any ado, let's get into the video and start learning. So if you're watching my channel for the first time, I'm Harika. I do videos on UiPath. So if you find them useful, do consider subscribing. And if you've already started watching my channel and haven't subscribed, then please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. And let's get into the video and see how we can recreate this whole things. So for the first thing, to take up this slider, so let me go back and take a different app. So I'm going to do it in my newsletter demo, which I have done in the last video for the demo purpose. So I'll start using the same one. Okay. Okay, I think that is newsletter. Let me take that one because it's already done here. I'll take this. Okay. Now I am gonna first take the slider. Okay. Let's go for the slider. I'm gonna pull it up and keep it over here. So if you see, the slider has a minimum and the maximum points, but in this video I have kept 0 and 100. So basically my idea is, if you go to the style, sorry, let's select this one. Okay, so if you select this in the general, you can see the minimum and the maximum points. Okay, 0 and the 100. So if you say the default value is given as 50, but in my case I want the default value as 0. Okay, and slide increment 1, it's fine. And the label I would give as, so here in the label I wanted to mention the volume. that it's increasing as in we move the button on the slider. Okay, so for that, what I have done, I have gone into the expression editor, and how I wanted to increase that particular label is, so you know it, how we can increase, how we can show the value dynamically, right? So for that, I am taking a main page dot slider dot value. So this is the one that shows up the value dot toString, because that's a integer, so I'm changing to the string. So if you see, that will change, shows me the value. So if I do the preview, so if you see here, the value, basically it should be, the value should be shown here. So if you see 34, 0, 82, right? But it should have some information on it. It should show all the values, but in case when it's muted. So if you see here, when it's muted, when it's 0, it should say that it's muted. But when it's increasing to any other value, it should say volume has increased to 80, 90, whatever the value it is increased to, right? So for that case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the expression a little bit. Okay, so if you know the inline if statements, ternary function, I'm using the same. If this value, okay, if this value dot equals to 0, if this is equals to 0, what should I be giving? I should give that it's muted. Okay, otherwise I should say volume has increased to the value. That's it. Clear? So first, if I'm checking what is this value, if it is 0, I am saying it's muted, because there is no point of saying volume has increased to 0, right? So if it changes other than 0, then I'm saying volume has increased to that particular value. Simple. So let's preview and see if you're trying to able to see the whole thing as it is. So I feel it's quite simple, and also this feature will help us to have a great UI, as in we, because it's dynamic, we are not hitting any like any XAML or any studio project, right? So it's great. So first, basically, as it is 0, it says it's muted. So perfect. So like this, you can customize your, the custom lines, or, the messages or the labels as you want, as you require. But this is how the basic rule, the basic, the foundation is for having these values by using the expression editor in the UiPath apps, right? This is great. Nice. So let's go to the next one. Let's add the new control. I'm taking the date picker. So for the date picker, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put up the date value here, right? So once after I provide the date value, I just want that to be shown in the format. So for that, here, what I have taken in this example, I have taken one label. Okay. So if you basically see here, I'm going to provide some label. Select the date. Okay. Whatever the value that comes in here. Okay, so let me pick one label. Okay, I have selected this label. So this label value should be coming up from here. So dot date picker dot value, and from here we are going to extract the value in a format that we want. So I wanted to take it in this format. or like this. Okay, done. So before to that, I just wanted to provide some value, like you have selected. Okay, you have selected this particular date, whatever they have selected it in the date pick. That's it. It's quite simple. And let's go to the preview and see how it will be shown up when we select the date. So here we have to do some changes with respect to fonts and styling. So I will show you how we can do that. But before to that, let's select some date. Select the date. So you have selected 20th September 2023. So it has auto adjusted as per the text that we are providing. So this is great. Nice. So after that, the last one that I'm going to show you is this one. Okay, this is quite simple and more interesting one. So first for this, what we need, the checkbox. Okay, I'm taking one control, which is checkbox. Okay, let's take one checkbox. Okay, so once after I take the checkbox, what do I need? First, I'll change this name. Okay, I agree the terms and conditions. Okay, done. After that, I need a button to click. So for that, I'm taking one more control, which is button. Normal button, not a radio button, normal button. So now it's quite simple. Till now, we have assigned the values, like how it should, what it should display, right? But now it's something about enabling and disabling. Okay, based on the value that comes over here, it has to be enabled or disabled. So by default, this value will not be checked. So this has to be disabled. So if you see here in the properties of button, in the general properties, there's something called as disabled. So we have kept it false. So let's say if I'm changing that to true. If I'm changing that to true, this will be disabled by default. Okay, so let's go and check. So now my idea is, as soon as I check that checkbox, this should be enabled. Before to that, that should be disabled. So if you see here, it is disabled. Even after I check on it, it will not be disabled because this both has to be mapped together. The logic has to be built between these both. So that is missing. So now what I'm going to do, this is, sorry, this should be, yeah, this should be disabled, right? So now this value, I am going to bind with the output that's coming from here. So how should I do that? It's quite simple. So if you see the output from the checkbox, it's a Boolean, okay? Main page dot, what is the output? Checkbox dot, what is the value? Value, okay? So if this value, what is the value by default? It is unchecked, right? So if it's unchecked, you have to disable it. If you see here, I'll show you step by step. So this is a Boolean, right? So this is the Boolean. So this is not disabled. That means this is true. Correct? This is true. That means if I give the value as it is, it will be false, right? So for that, I have kept a not. That means by default, this should be false. This should not be enabled. So if I have to give a step-by-step values to you, so let's go and do a preview. Then you can understand. So just remember one thing, when the button is disabled, that means the disabled is false, it will be active. Okay, so for that, what we have kept, it's a not value. We have kept a not and value. So that means it should be disabled, correct? If you see here, this is disabled. So once after you check it, it will be enabled. If you uncheck, it will be disabled, right? So it is depending upon the value that is coming from here. Clear? Got the clarity on it? Based on the value that is coming up over here, we are either enabling this button or disabling that button. So this is the Boolean value. It is a check value. Okay. So if you see here, once again, I'll go into this expression. So if you see here, this main page dot checkbox dot value, which is coming from the checkbox. So basically, that value is whether it's a true or false, that matters. Okay, so whether it's a true or false. So if you are saying if this is true, if the value that is coming from the checkbox is true, what you are saying, you're saying not, you're keeping it not. So by basically by default, the value coming from the checkbox is false. Okay, this value is false and you're saying a not, that means true. Disable it, true, that means we are disabling this. Okay, so when this value is false and there's a value, there's a not, so that means we are making it as a true. Okay, when this value is true, that means we have checked it, right? When the value is true, we are enabling it. That means not of true is false, right? So this is a Boolean. So we just have to ensure that that logic is going correct. That's it. So I hope you find this video useful. Do let me know in the comments if you have any questions while recreating this. And also, I'll come up with a great and interesting videos on UiPath apps next week. And until then, you try recreating this. If you find any questions or if you have any use cases that you're struggling with, do let me know in the chat, in the comments. And also you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn page. I'll provide you the page link in the description. Do let me know if you can reach out to me if you have any questions. So I'll see you with the next video in the next week. Thank you so much for watching. Do consider subscribing if you like the videos, and I'll see you in the next time. Bye.